Text, the Barebones Foundation. Every single digital note you've ever typed, from the reminders to self in your phone's native note app to the simple readme.txt file in every single program you download, is plain text. You open a basic program like Notepad on Windows or TextEdit on Mac, type, and the computer saves it as a TXT file. It was basic, bare bones, and strictly for raw, fundamental, unformatted alphanumeric data. This is where most people get fundamentally confused. TXT holds absolute zero formatting instructions. No bolding, no italics, no bullet points, no fancy fonts, no embedded images, no hyperlinks, no headers, no footers. It is just raw characters on a grid. But this simplicity is its absolute power. Because it has zero bloat and zero unnecessary code, TXT files are incredibly, undeniably tiny. We're talking kilobytes. And more importantly, they are universally readable. They can be opened instantly on literally any device with a screen, from a multi-million-dollar corporate mainframe to a first-generation iPod to your smart fridge. If you need to make a note that can be read by any machine in existence without error, this is the definitive format you use. It's the foundational DNA of programming code. But for actual documents, it's useless. No visual structure, no visual identity. That brings us to our next format. DOCX, the formatting giant. This format brought the definitive visual upgrade for digital writing. It became the undisputed commercial hit that made Microsoft Office the global standard. And here's the key technical breakthrough. The X at the end doesn't just stand for extra, it stands for XML, Extensible Markup Language. This is where most people's understanding ends. They think a DOCX is just one continuous file with formatting layered on top, like the old crash-prone doc format from the 90s. No. A DOCX is actually, secretly, a zipped folder. Yes, it's a standard compressed archive containing dozens of separate XML files, one for your text, another for your complete list of formatting instructions, another for embedded images. This internal structure is what makes it so incredibly powerful. It handles complex multi-column tables, hundreds of different custom fonts, sophisticated track changes and commenting systems, and high-resolution embedded images perfectly and reliably without corrupting your text every other week. This is why if you are a professional formatting a definitive resume, a college student drafting a final essay, or a business manager creating a proposal that has to sell, DOCX gives you the cleanest, most accessible, and most feature-rich writing experience available. PDF, the Digital Padlock. This is where everything fundamentally changed for sharing files and preventing a definitive formatting nightmare. The massive problem with sending a complex DOCX file to another person is you are relying on their specific computer setup. If you send a beautifully formatted resume to a hiring manager and they don't have your specific fonts installed, or they open it on a different operating system, the entire layout completely and utterly breaks. Page 2 bleeds onto page 3, margins shift, and it looks unprofessional. This is where the Digital Padlock comes in. PDF stands for Portable Document Format, and it solved this massive universal problem by locking the document in time. It literally freezes the entire visual layout as a definitive, unchangeable snapshot. No matter where or how you open it, from a Windows PC to an iPhone, a Mac, or even an ancient monochrome printer from 20 years ago, it looks absolutely identical and stays locked in place. No stutter, no broken formatting, no shifted margins, just a definitive frozen visual interface that anyone on any machine can read exactly as the creator intended. It is not designed for easy editing, it's designed for easy sharing of the final authoritative version. If you are sending a final contract that requires a precise signature, a definitive product manual, or a mission-critical invoice that cannot be changed, PDF is the standard, unbeatable global workhorse. JPEG, the compression king. This format has been the definitive default and undisputed compression king for digital photography for decades, and it's still the most common image format on the entire internet. Why? Because it works perfectly for complex photographs containing millions of different colors and casual smartphone snapshots. And here's where most people get completely misled. They focus on the tiny file size and think the image quality is magically preserved. No. Every single JPEG you've ever taken or downloaded is fundamentally, unchangeably lossy. The compression algorithm is incredibly clever, mathematically analyzing the image and literally throwing away color and pixel data that it decides your human eyes cannot easily perceive anyway. It identifies complex gradients and simplifies them, prioritizing space over absolute perfect pixel integrity. This is why for casual users who are just posting a casual photo to social media, JPEG is perfectly fine. You get a great-looking tiny file that uploads fast. But JPEG has two massive, undeniable limitations that will destroy your quality if you're not careful. First, it is terrible for logos, user interfaces, and sharp text. This aggressive, lossy compression creates ugly, blocky visual artifacts around these sharp edges. And second, and most critically, generational loss. Every single time you open, edit, and resave a JPEG, the computer throws away even more data. It doesn't matter how high the resolution is, multiple saves will turn a high-res photo into a deep-fried, blurry visual mess. For actual design or editing, it's a dead zone.
PNG, the transparent champion. This format was the definitive and true upgrade for web graphics and design, solving the two massive, undeniable problems of JPEG. First, it uses lossless compression, meaning the quality stays perfectly, undeniably sharp. It retains every single pixel's exact information. You can save it thousands of times, and the file will never lose even a single bit of its original visual integrity. More importantly, it introduced the alpha channel, which is a massive breakthrough. This means you can have a completely, utterly transparent background. Every single time you see a clean, sharp logo floating on a website with no background box or an animated graphic overlay layered over video footage, you are almost certainly looking at a PNG file. It is the undisputed design world champion for clean, professional graphics and icons. You would never use it to archive actual photos because the lossless compression means the file sizes are massive compared to JPEG. But for graphics that must look perfect and need to float, this is the sweet spot. WebP is the modern web standard. This is the definitive workhorse of the modern internet. For decades, web developers were forced to juggle formats, using JPEGs for photos, PNGs for transparent logos, and GIFs for chunky animations. It was inefficient and bloated website loading times. Then Google stepped in and developed WebP to completely kill the old standards. And here is why it is an absolute masterpiece of efficiency. It does absolutely everything. It offers both lossy compression that beats JPEG and lossless compression that rivals PNG, all while keeping the file sizes a fraction of the weight. But here's the massive kicker. It also universally supports the perfect transparent backgrounds of PNGs and the looping animations of GIFs, all rolled into one highly optimized universal format. When you browse the web today and images load instantly without eating up your mobile data, you are looking at WebP. It runs effortlessly on almost any modern browser, fundamentally cutting website loading times in half. If you are building a website or saving images directly from the internet right now, WebP is the undisputed modern sweet spot. MP3, the definitive format that completely changed the music industry forever. Before this, digital music was tied to massive, uncompressed CD files that would instantly fill up an entire hard drive. MP3 changed the game by introducing brilliant, ruthless, lossy compression for audio. It relies on a scientific concept called psychoacoustics. The computer literally analyzes the audio track and permanently deletes the extreme high and low frequencies that the average human ear cannot easily perceive anyway. By throwing away that hidden data, it crushed file sizes down to just 3 or 4 megabytes a song, allowing you to fit thousands of tracks into your pocket for the very first time. But here is where most people get confused. The quality of an MP3 depends entirely on its bit rate. A 128 kilobyte MP3 sounds like you were listening to music through a tin can underwater, while a 320 kilobyte MP3 sounds absolutely fantastic to 99% of people. For casual listeners on Spotify, podcast lovers, and basic audio sharing, the MP3 remains the indestructible, universally compatible workhorse. The FLAC, the Audiophile tier. This is the bleeding edge for absolute audio purists. The undeniable problem with MP3 is that data is lost forever. If you have a massive, expensive home theater setup or top-tier studio headphones, playing a compressed MP3 means you are leaving half of your hardware's performance completely on the table. FLAC stands for Free Lossless Audio Codec, and it is the definitive true upgrade. It compresses the audio file to save you massive amounts of hard drive space compared to raw, uncompressed WAV files, but it does it losslessly. It uses complex math to pack the data tightly, but it absolutely refuses to throw a single piece of audio data away. When you hit play, the file unpacks itself flawlessly in real time, delivering an exact, bit-for-bit, studio-perfect replica of the original recording session. The sound is perfectly clean. If you are just listening to music on cheap wireless earbuds, FLAC is completely unnecessary overkill. But if you demand maximum, uncompromised studio quality, FLAC is the absolute gold standard. MP4, the universal video standard. MP4 is the undisputed king of video, and here is exactly why. Perfect, absolute compatibility. What most people fundamentally misunderstand is that MP4 is not actually a video codec itself. It is a container format. Think of it like a highly organized digital cardboard box that simultaneously holds the actual video stream, the audio track, and the text subtitles, all packaged neatly together. Inside that box, the video is usually compressed using modern, highly efficient codecs like H.264 or H.265, which perfectly balance stellar, high-definition visual quality with highly manageable, upload-friendly file sizes. Because it is the industry standard, it plays natively and flawlessly on literally everything, from YouTube to iPhones to smart TVs to massive digital billboards. No errors, no missing codecs, no stuttering playback. If you're rendering a video, saving a clip from your phone, or uploading absolutely anything to the internet, MP4 is the absolute minimum you should consider. It is the definitive sweet spot for digital video. MKV, the heavyweight container. MKV, which stands for Matroska Video, is the absolute heavyweight format of choice for high-end movie archiving. Just like MP4, it is a container format, but here is the massive difference. An MKV file has practically zero limits. It is designed to hold an infinite amount of data. A single MKV file can seamlessly hold a pristine 4K HDR video track, 5 different lossless surround sound audio tracks, and 20 different subtitle languages, all at the exact same time. You can switch from an English dub to a Japanese dub with French subtitles seamlessly inside the same exact file, using a program like VLC Player. It is incredibly powerful. But here is the harsh reality. Because it is so complex, it is not universally supported. If you try to play an MKV on an older smart TV or drop it into certain professional video editing software, it will simply fail or show a massive black screen. If you are just sharing a basic video with a friend or uploading to YouTube, MKV is an absolute unnecessary hassle. Stick with MP4. But if you are building a definitive high-quality digital movie library, MKV is the ultimate heavyweight champion. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, and if you want more videos breaking down confusing tech in simple terms, subscribe.